are addressed or that are taken to for the justice? Anyone? I hope my question is clear. My question is, if we take an example of Bhopal gas tragedy, and we if we say that okay, this Bhopal gas tragedy was an accident and nobody had done it deliberately, why was the case compiled for this accident, and why was this case taken up in the court, and who were the ones who actually took this case up?
Ma'am, in this the possible reason can be that whatsoever be the reason for behind it, the negligence or like that, it should be clarified, and it gives future perspective to all, so that such accident never can't take place in future.
Okay, good. So I'm taking two important words that you have mentioned: ignorance and negligence. Right now, so these two are very important features, which even if that was an accident, but because of this negligence and ignorance, which was deliberate, with which it was associated with the accident, this was taken up in the court. Okay. Now, what was the negligence and ignorance? Now, that was, or that maybe in the terms of negligence towards maintenance, negligence towards the the region where the industry was brought up. Say, for example, it is close towards, or it is close toward. I mean, it's close to the residential area, or maybe to the schooling areas, or it is close to the regions where the availability of rescue operations are not available. Now, that is also included in the ignorance. Okay. Now, negligence is in terms
Ma'am,
of maintenance.
healthcare facilities also.
Yes, right. Now, for example, they don't have any immediate um, um, immediate measurements, like so that the losses can be, or the damage can be minimized at an immediate level. If that is not available with the industry, or that is not there, then of course all those things are taken into account under this these broad terms of negligence and ignorance. Now, because of this negligence and ignorance, this accident had happened, because we all know that because of the leakage of methyl isocyanate. And why this leakage had happened? Because the pipes and the tanks, they were very old, and they required maintenance, which was not happening. Okay. And because there was a big break of I don't know, maybe there was some festival at that time. Because of during that big break, there was no one there who had a look to the, like, the processing and the process unit. And during that time, because it was already under the poor maintenance, the the leaking of the gases started happening. And when this methyl isocyanate got mixed with the water tanks, it started producing that huge fumes, which eventually started polluting the entire atmosphere. Okay. So the PIL was filed by the people who were affected, by the public who were affected by the pollution, or by this accident, in terms of loss of life, in terms of the not the immediate, not just the immediate loss in the life, but it also genetically affected some of the lives, especially those women who were pregnant. It was found that the children that were born to such women who were affected by the Bhopal gas tragedy, they had severe deformities, and they had abnormalities. Okay. So even they were included, and they also participated while filing those PIL. Okay. So this PIL was filed against this company, the Union Carbide company, and the case was filed. Okay. So initially that case, because there was no such separate body at that time, so it was filed in Supreme Court. And and the result was, of course, the company was uh, uh, was found, what means the case went in favor of the public. and it was found that it was due to the negligence and ignorance of the company that people had to face loss. Okay, so then the fine was imposed. Now this, depending upon the intensity of the accident, depending upon the reasons, how intentionally they are connected with the reasons, they were the penalties are imposed. Now those penalties can be in the form of jail, in the form of imprisonment, in the form of fine, which is in the form of like money, depending upon the total turnover and the damage caused by that company. Okay, this fine can be in the form of or is in the form of the permanent shutdown of the industry also. Okay, so initially a notice is given to the company to come up with the clarification as to why it was caused, and depending upon what clarification they have given, whether it's what is practical, and of course what are all the points which are not justifiable, they are imposed with the fines. Okay, so say for example in case of Union Carbide industry, the loss was highly impactful, and the clarification that they had given was not up to the mark, and it was clear that because of the ignorance and the negligence towards the maintenance and other parts, the company didn't means the company had caused this huge damage, and as a result, not just the fine was imposed, but the permanent shutdown of that company was gone. Okay, so this is the way in which these the courts work towards these issues and cases. Now, but so as the India became more and more cognizant towards the environment, towards the acts on the environment, especially the forest, and as the population was increasing in the industrial development and the dependencies on the resources was increasing, the number of cases increased. And because the pressure on the Supreme Court was increasing, because already there are a lot amount of cases, and because these the cases, especially pertaining to environment, needs an immediate results and the immediate hearing, so it was decided that a separate act will be brought. So in 2010, an act known as Green Tribunal Act was launched. Under this act, a court was created, to a separate court solely and wholly dedicated for the environmental for the environmental, to address the environmental issues or the injustice towards them was addressed here, and this was known as your National Green Tribunal. Okay, so it was established on 18th October in 2010 under the National Green Tribunal Act, and this act was also created in 2010. Okay, so what is the function of National Green Tribunal, or what are the objectives of the National Green Tribunal? The effective and quick disposal of the cases, and these cases are in context or are related to environmental protection and the conservation of forest, the conservation of the biodiversity, and the conservation of other natural resources. For example, all the illegal mining activities that are connected with the connected with the resources, for example, coal, okay, or for example, any mineral, that are also taken in National Green Tribunal. Those are also addressed in National Green Tribunal. Okay, and not only these cases, but the cases where which are connected with legal rights related to the environment in terms of providing relief and compensation to the damages that it has caused to the people, directly or indirectly, in terms of their life, in terms of the loss of the property, in terms of any matter that is connected with it, they are also addressed in National Green Tribunal. Okay, so say for example, this Narmada Bachao Andolan, where the people, especially the tribal people, the people from the rural areas, or the people who were affected by the submergence of the huge amount of land because of this project. So because of the promises that they were given in as per the Rehabilitation Resettlement Act, we will discuss this in detail when we will take this. They all went to the court, and their case was addressed. Initially, it was there in Supreme Court, but now it has been shifted into the NGT. Okay, so the case was addressed there, and finally it went in favor of the construction of the dam. But at the same time, they also came up with resolving the issues, where they created pressure on the administration to come up with a possible solution so that the people who were facing the problem pre-rehabilitation and post-rehabilitation, they can be addressed. Okay, so all these cases are taken up by the NGT. Okay, and what is the motivation behind creating these NGT? Of course, we have already discussed then while we were discussing about the motivation behind all the environmental acts that have brought that came in India from time to time, because they all go to the signing of Stockholm Conference, followed by the participation and commitment of India as a nation towards your Earth Summit. Okay, so all those were the motivating factors that made India to as a nation to show its commitment towards protecting nature by coming up with these laws, and they created these laws and the different body. Okay, but am I not audible?
You are audible.
Okay.
Ma'am, you're clearly audible.
Okay, Janvi, in case if I'm not audible to you, maybe you can rejoin the session again. Okay. Okay. So what is the composition and the structure of the tribunal? Like any other court, it comprises of three platforms. The top platform comprises of a chairperson, and the chairperson, who is also known as the chairman of the tribunal, is required to be serving or a retired Chief Justice of High Court or a judge of Supreme Court of India. And he or she should have a good amount of experience as well as knowledge pertaining to the environment, the environmental rules, regulations, and acts. Okay. The second layer comprises of minimum of 10 to 20 judicial members. These judicial members are again comprises of the advocates and the lawyers, who again should have experience, considerable amount of experience working in High Court or in Supreme Court. Okay. The third layer comprises of the members apart from judicial members, who are the expert members, and they comprise of group of bureaucrats, socialists, economists, the environmentalists, and the people who are expert in, say, for example, soil, geology, the information on the landslide and environmental accidents. So together, this form the structure of NGT, that is your National Green Tribunal. Okay. Okay, so the objective of the tribunal is to settle the dispute in less than 6 months of the time. Okay, so they try to resolve, or as they settle these disputes in 1 to 2 months of time period, but maximum in 6 months they the tribunal is obligated to settle these disputes. Okay, so all the cases that are that are taken up by the tribunal, they are limited, or they don't go beyond 6 months time period. Okay, so within 6 months they try to settle these disputes. Okay, however, under the exceptional cases where there are likely chances that the conflicts are something where the states are involved, or large sections of people are involved, and that both the states or the people, they are not listening to or they are not abiding by the court hearings and the proceedings, then in that case, in those exceptional cases, the cases are taken to the Supreme Court. Okay, so for example, the cases, like for example your river disputes. Okay, the one between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. So initially, they were taken at NGT. They were coming up with the hearings, but one or the other state was not abiding by them. They were not following it. So at the end, the NGT had to take this case to the Supreme Court. Okay, so now the case is taken up by the Supreme Court. Okay, so most of the cases where they cannot find anyone. Okay, where the problem is a is a is like for example the distribution of the water of the rivers between two states. So there it becomes difficult for the NGT to come up with a possible solution, because even if they come up with some hearings or the solution, there are likely chances the state won't be following them. Then there is no mechanism there where they can impose some fine on the entire state. So in that case, they take it or they take the case to the Supreme Court. Okay, so those are the exceptions. Otherwise, all the cases are taken to the NGT, which is considered as the Supreme Court for that case. Okay, means after this, if means whatever hearings that are released by the tribunal for those cases, they have to be followed there. They cannot be taken up at the Supreme Court. Okay, so for example, normal cases, what happens when they are not heard at district or the people are not satisfied at the high court level, then of course then taken up to the Supreme Court levels. Whatever will be the decision of the NGT, they have to follow them. From here, the cases cannot be taken up to the leaving behind the exceptions, keeping aside the exceptions. Okay, and the exceptional case I have mentioned you, for example, the river conflicts. Okay. Okay, so another important section that tribunal is empowered with is to grant relief in the form of compensation or in the form of restitution of property damage. Okay, so for example, the landslides, a series of landslides that are happening in Uttarakhand. Now, the people who are have lost the lives of the loved ones, or they have lost their property. So now all those cases means if at all the cases have been filed in the form of the loss to the property, then they are taken at the NGT, and depending upon whether the damage is directly or indirectly linked to the to the human causes, they are provided with the compensation and relief. So not necessary that every time compensation is provided in the form of monetary supply. They are also provided in the form of, say, for example, some health insurance or maybe some health subsidy, and in the form of, say, for example, the students or their kids or their children will be given some reservations in the schools, in terms of, okay, they would be made to pay the fees for that. So all those compensation and restitution processes, they are also decided by the NGT. So NGT has a power to take decisions in those levels also. Okay. Apart from that, if on behalf of the group, for example, if say for example, if I take an example of the Wangpatkai case where the group of Northeast tribals are getting affected by it. Now these people are not very educated that they are aware of the code where they have to go. So even if some environmentalist or a local person on behalf of them files the case, that is also taken up by NGT, and on behalf of that person, the group of tribes or the rural people or the people who are affected by them, they are also provided with the compensation, or with any or if any damage to their property is happening, that case will also, or those cases are also taken up by the tribunal. Okay, so currently recently this case has been taken up by one of the environmentalists in the Assam, where the MOAF have given the green signal to CIL, that is the Coal India Limited of Assam, to begin with this mining activity to take out the coal. But the group of tribes and the people, and the environmentalists also showed that this mining activity is actually happening in the region which is close to the wildlife sanctuary, which recently has been changed into a national park, that is the Hang Patkai. And as per the rules and regulations of national park, because no such construction activity or mining activity can happen in these places, as it causes the damage to the biodiversity, and it causes the disturbance to the natural processes there, this sounds illegal. Okay, so this case is still going on in the court, and the CIL and the stay and the stay on the order sanctioned by the Assam government where they had allowed CIL has been imposed. So right now, this case hearing is still happening in the court, NGT court. Okay. Okay. So apart from that,
Ma'am,
small, yeah,
what is CIL?
it's Coal India Limited.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, it's Coal India Limited. Okay. Okay. So even the small cases taken up by a community, for example, quite a time back, I'm exactly not able to recall the year. Um, okay, I'm sorry, Vinam. So, in somewhere in the southern part of Delhi, close to Defense Colony, the government had given a red green signal, or sorry, local administration has given this green signal for coming up with this project on constructing road. Okay, this was a part of a national highway probably, and because of that, the trees were cut down at a huge scale. Okay, some thousands of trees fell down. Okay, so the people or the local people who were living in the vicinity or in that colony, they came up, they filed a case in the local district court, and that then went up to NGT. Okay, and there NGT questioned the government, and they asked for the clarification and justification to tell how they have given the green signal to this case, and what were the measurements that were taken by them in order to replace or in order to minimize this damage. Okay, so all these cases are also taken up at NGT. Okay, even when if we can recall when this Akshardham temple was was not constructed, and a project was bought, okay, to build this Akshardham temple, and because this land is very close to Yamuna, it forms the part of the Yamuna floodplain. So the environmentalists, they filed the case. Again, it went to NGT, where they questioned if construction of the Akshardham temple is right to be brought upon in that region, which is a part of Yamuna floodplain. Okay, so that case went for a long period of time, and finally the court gave the order in the definitely favor of Akshardham temple, and now the temple is there. Okay, so uh, 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 but although I believe that that still forms the part of floodplain. Okay, the floodplain of Yamuna. Okay, uh, okay, okay. So these are the cases, and these are the role of the NGT. You can go in detail in terms of what are the law proceedings of the NGT. I don't think this much amount of information is needed. The only thing that is important here to know is what is NGT, what is its role, what is its structure, how it came into account, what are the cases it takes, and what are its various roles. So I'll share these slides. You will find the information in detail about the NGT. If you want to know more about it, you can visit their official website, the official website of the NGT. Okay? So there you will see the list of cases which are ongoing, which they have solved, and so on. Okay, so even the offenses by the companies, by the industries, by the developmental activity, construction activity, in whether in the urban area, whether in the rural area, the damage caused by any environment, sorry, your industrial activity. For example, this Vishakhapatnam case, it was immediately taken up at NGT, where they have where they gave that decision, and then where they not decision where they immediately asked the authority to come up with a clarification, and they were asked to give a show cause notice. Okay, that okay, just maybe you have a week's time, and in the court you have to appear before the court, and you have to tell how this damage has been caused and how the company see it as an accident. Okay, so based on that, they came up with the hearing, where the company was asked to pay a fine, huge amount of fine, and it was asked that if the company doesn't make that payment, then in that case the company will be shut down permanently, because not much loss to the life was caused, and the accident was seen as okay, that the involvement of the negligence was not there because of the pandemic, as the people were not able to go there, so the maintenance was not happening. So considering all those factors, the company was only asked to pay the amount in the form of in the form of monetary fine, so that that fine could be used as a form of a compensation to the people who have lost their life or they were affected by the accident or the toxicity. Okay. Okay, so you can go through all these. Even I think even this Central Vista project. Have you heard about the Central Vista project? Any one of you? Any one of you? Have you heard about the Central Vista project?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Can you tell what it is? What what this project about? Anyone? Okay, okay. Has any one of you recently visited the region around India Gate? आप लोगों में से कोई गया है क्या अभी इस
Ma'am,
पार्ट?
it's about the new parliament.
Pardon बेटा?
Ma'am, Central Vista project is about the new parliament being constructed.
Right, right. Very good, Disha. Very good. Okay. And can you, so my another question is, has anyone gone recently and has visited that region around India Gate? Okay, I think no one has gone close to that region because of pandemic, right? Okay. So,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So can you recall if any one of you have visited that region before? How what was the structure of that region? मतलब कैसा दिखता था वो? क्या मुझे कोई बताएगा? Wait, I was thinking to show you some pictures. Wait. Okay. Wait, I'll show you. Wait, wait, wait. Okay, so if any one of you can recall, okay, how it was. Okay, let me show you the comparative picture. Right? जब शायद से देखा होगा कि बीच का रोड है जो इंडिया गेट और राष्ट्रपति भवन को ज्वाइन करता है, और उसके आइदर साइड आपके हरे काफी ग्रीन मैदान, मतलब गार्डन्स लाइक थिंग, गार्डन लाइक स्ट्रेचेस आर देयर, ठीक। उसके किनारे
Yes,
पेड़ों की
ma'am.
काफी लाइन है और छोटे छोटे पूल जैसा है ना, उन्होंने पानी का पूल जैसा भी बना कर रखा हुआ है थ्रू आउट दैट स्ट्रेचेस देयर, राइट। सो द करंट सीन इज, I'll show you. Okay, so this case also went into went in NGT, but I am not sure. They gave a green signal and green flag to this project. Wait, I'll share the screen. Okay, so this is um, the present scene there. Okay, so I have recently went to CP there. तो although वहाँ पे सारे बैरिकेड्स उन्होंने लगा कर रखे हुए तो मैं काफ़ी घेर के जाना होता है. But this is the picture as of now today. I mean, as of now. Okay, so although I believe trees शायद से नहीं गिरे हैं, हालांकि वहाँ पे trees नहीं हैं, but all that green part, that aesthetic part, that is removed. Okay, and I believe that if this thing will get constructed, okay, then definitely this green cover will go off. Okay, so this case also went in NGT, where environmentalists came up with their points that how this project will affect the greenery, the aesthetic, the aesthesis of that entire region, and that will in turn affect the flora and fauna of the close by region, and it will also increase the the pollution level, and will deteriorate the air pollution, air quality there. Okay. However, the case went for some time. Eventually, it came in favor of the government, who gave the green signal to the project. Okay. Okay. So these were the cases. This is what is there in your environmental justice. I'll quickly describe about the environmental awareness, although we have gone through the presentations, but I'll just quickly go through it. Okay. Okay, so as we already know that you all have presented, a few of your groups have presented very well on environmental awareness, and there we have discussed about one of the program, that is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and we know that it came up in 2nd of October in 2014, and the motive or the objective of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is to come up with clean and hygienic nation. Okay, a nation with clean lanes and a hygienic condition. Okay, and under this project or under this mission or under this abhiyan, the toilet, that is to prevent open defecation, make India open defecation free project was also implemented. As a result of that, the toilets were constructed, and it was found that in 2019, the number of toilets grew from 3% to 10%. Okay, and the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is one of a good example of the success it had shown in terms of people's participation. Means in a public's participation. Okay, so it included and it involved the participation from the people, from education, from research fields, from the job, the householders, the villages, rural areas, uneducated mass, and of course from the political leaders. So the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is one such example of one good example of awareness campaign, which show or which exemplifies the participation of people at large. Okay, so it's interesting to look, okay, what were those positive, or what was those features that motivated people to participate at large. Of course, the role of the advertisement was good, was strong, and because those advertisements were released almost everywhere in the radio cities and in the FM channels and in the televisions, so that created an impact. Okay, then they marked this event and they associated it with the local authority, maybe the mayor of the region or maybe the MLA of the local region. And because time to time they were participating, maybe sweeping of the lanes, so it motivated the local people to join their hands and participate in that. Okay. Apart from that, MCD also played their important role in creating dustbins so that people don't have to go far away, and they can dispose their waste instead of open pit in the dustbins itself. Okay, so all those points or all those steps were the positive signals that caused, or that was that promoted the participation of the people or the awareness of the people at large. Okay, so when we are talking about environmental awareness, so we are covering three important aspects here. First, of course, what are the various ways why awareness has to be created? Second, what are those factors that helps in increasing the success rate of these awareness campaigning? Okay, and third, after this awareness campaign, what should be the measurement? Okay, or what should be the action? Now, most of the time, what happens is that when we identify the problem and we come up with a solution, okay, and we believe and we think, okay, now the problem is resolved. But coming up with identifying the problem and coming up with the solution is the initial step. Okay, we imagine or we think or authority or an administration think, okay, now our job is done. हमने प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया, हमने उसका एक सोल्यूशन बता दिया, ठीक है, हम एक अवेयरनेस कैंपेनिंग कर लेंगे ताकि ये हो जाए. बट फिर भी प्रॉब्लम रहती है या फिर भी प्रॉब्लम और द प्रॉब्लम परसिस्ट. व्हाई? बिकॉज हमने जिस फर्स्ट स्टेप को माना है कि वो फाइनल स्टेप है, दैट इज एक्चुअली आवर इनिशियल स्टेप. फर्दर स्टेप जो हम किसी भी अवेयरनेस कैंपेन या किसी भी पॉलिसी या किसी भी लॉ या किसी भी एक्ट को लेके आ रहे वो है ये चेक ना कि वो लॉ, वो एक्ट, वो पॉलिसी किस लेवल तक सक्सेसफुल है, क्या चैलेंजेस उसमें आ रहे हैं. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हमने तो पॉलिसी बना दिया है लेकिन जब उसको फॉलो करने की बात है, पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू फॉलो इट और दे आर फेसिंग सर्टेन प्रॉब्लम्स और दे आर फेसिंग सम चैलेंज, और एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ विच दैट पॉलिसी, दैट अवेयरनेस कैंपेन बस सिर्फ और सिर्फ वो एक कागजी लेवल पर या फिर सुपरफिशियल लेवल पर रह गया. ओके, सो the second most important measurement that has to be carried out after any awareness campaigning is to take a follow-up on whether it is yielding any result or change in the thought or in the actions of the people or in the attitudes of the people or not. Okay, if that is not happening, then what changes have to happen? Okay, this process keeps on going unless and until you come up with a visible form of change. Okay, so how that could be done? That can be done by surveys, by creating committees that will report or will give a time to time accounting of how much successful it has gone or what are the challenges that people are facing, and even they will come up with the points if in case that awareness didn't succeeded. Okay, so all those factors will be taken into account. Okay, why it didn't create an impact, or what are those points that have created impact, so that those points or those factors can be reproduced somewhere else to make it successful. Okay, so these are the various aspects of awareness. Now that there are different ways by which the awareness is created. The role of the government has played an important role in coming up with the National Green Corps, the National Environment Awareness Campaigning, that is NEAC. It was formalized in 1986, and National Green Corps that came up with a program on eco clubs. Okay, so taking an example of an eco club of our college, we now know that these eco clubs are which connects the students at the individual level. Then they are connected by the teacher in charge. From there, it is connected to the district level, then to the state level, and then to the national level. So it forms a channel to impart knowledge and create awareness by means of youths in the society. Okay, so we have discussed this in detail in the presentations. I will share those presentations and I will share these notes. Okay, there you will come with, okay, what are the actions that are taken by the government, and what are the roles, what are the objectives of each and every or every agency. For example, NEAC, that is National Environment, NEAC or NEPC, what's that? Yeah, NEAC, National Environment Awareness Campaigning. So they also have a funding institute. They provide funding support to the eco clubs and to the NGOs who one or the other way are playing a role in creating awareness to the people, between the people. Okay, so that funding and monetary support in the form of workshops, time-to-time workshops for the teachers, for the students, they are also taken up by an NEAC. Okay, so this is all there in the awareness on the environment. Okay, so I hope this is the another part of this unit 7. Now the part that is remaining, that is an important part, is the environmental movement, which I will discuss tomorrow.